with the work that we've done today, it's been quite interesting. With the younger children in years 3 and 4, they've probably never come across instructional language before. So I pretended that I was a robot and they had to give me instructions as to how to pick up a pen, and then realised just how precise and ordered their instructions needed to be. I did get to the point where I was doing some unpleasant bending because they couldn't seem to get me out of being bent double with my head on the ground trying to pick up a pen, so we went back. And I'm very pleased to say that in the end they did get it right. We've used the idea of travelling from outside of the school to the inside of the school and being very precise in lefts and rights and stops and goes. But it's always interesting with younger children that they still always seem to want to try and make a story out of everything that they write. So short of there being a princess who was walking up and down the corridor. But it was interesting and I really enjoyed it. This afternoon I'm going to be working with some year 6s, and this is a class that I worked with last year, and they did come up with some really good narrative stories, but we're going to be looking at instructional language, and also at the beginning of the year I made them write some notes, and I'm going to let them use those notes to rewrite up what it was that was actually said at that time. They were under the impression that the notes that they made would be sufficient. I think that they'll find that they might need to make more precise notes in the future. But who knows? I'm always willing to be surprised. As I do this, I've become very conscious of the fact that I am supposed to be working, and I'm working and making a diary, and that the diary shouldn't really overtake the work that I'm doing. So I've become very conscious of that. It is still an experiment, still trying to find out what it is, but I think I'd like to finish this day showing you some of the good work that I've done with the children. A white, skinny man, thin legs, crooked walk. I don't want to be like him. Creepy and weird bones missing. Big bones blocking something. A face with no eyes or mouth. Bald, silky skull, not human. I feel scared as I look at him. Long bony fingers, giant bumpy toes. Body falling to pieces, not strong enough. Terrified if he followed me, jumping out at me. I hope he gets you, not me. Almost by accident, I've discovered that most of the things that I've recorded today haven't recorded properly. It seemed like the microphone wasn't working correctly. I don't know if that's a disaster, but it's a bit of a setback, especially this early in a video diary. But a very busy morning, and what a difference a day makes. Yesterday the children were introduced to instructional language, and today it almost seems as if they've been doing it all their lives. We used some paper to make A4 paper cubes, and before they actually constructed the cubes, they wrote the instructions on each of the squares of the net that you use to make a cube. They'd written down the instructions and numbered them 1 to 6, and then we devised a game, a bit like Beetle, where you have to throw the die, and if it lands on a 1, then you could make that part of the cube, which would be the first folds, until you get to number 6, and it's whoever gets from 1 to 6 in sequential order is the winner. Straight after that, we've been planning for the best part of an hour and a half on what's going to happen for the rest of this term, writing adventure stories and mystery stories, how we're going to plot and plan these, and make sure that the teachers are involved in the delivery of the process. And then after that, I'm going to be delivering again to another class, a year 4-5 class, and then I'm going to be planning again, and after that there's going to be a discussion at the end of school, and that's going to be followed by a drive to Bristol. Now I'm feeling pretty good at the moment, But maybe if you ask me at 9 o'clock tonight, when I've driven the 3.5 hours to Bristol, it might be slightly different. But who knows?
Hotel room overlooking a runway. The family's...
Once our fear was...
After 300 yards, turn left, then sharp right. Turn right, then at the end of the road, turn right.
And I'm in. That was a long drive. I think mostly it was the M6 was like such a stop still, stand go kind of journey, but I was only delayed by an hour, so it's just after 9, so the end of a 14-hour day. Very interesting this afternoon, especially after we'd done the planning, and then we had like a review of how we think that the whole project's going. I've got to say I've been very lucky. The people that I've been working with have been very cooperative. They've allowed me to sort of show them different creative ideas, and also they've taken on board a lot of the things that I've asked them to do and run with them. Some excellent work. And then at the end of the day we had a discussion which was all about the way that the school does assessment of the children, and I've got to say it's very detailed, and you can tell how, say, perhaps a child on free milk with English as a second language who's only been in the school 6 months can tell you exactly what level they are at and how much progress they've made in a short space of time. I've got to say, and this sounds awful, but if I was subjected to having to fill in all of these forms now, I think I might reconsider what it is that I do. I'm much happier just turning up, telling stories, and then turning around and going home. I do try and improve the children's lives, but I don't think that I can be forever filling in forms. Anyway, very good, nice place, very amenable. I was a bit worried because I thought I was going to have to park the car on the street with everything in it, or the alternative would be to take everything out and fill the room up with a guitar, a banjo, 3 lots of clothing, camera, lights and action. But thankfully there's a car park associated with the hotel, and that really is me for the night. Had enough. So night night.